another Henchcraft, all Henchcraft in row number 4. The outside, the 35W, sponsored by Mazer Group. This is Wally Butler. You'll recall Wally led the heat race, the first heat race, in fact, of the Lightning Sprints tonight and went off the racetrack early. Inside row number 5 is the car number 13. This is Al Giesbrecht on the outside of row number 5. The 14, sponsored by Bell's Property Services. This is Edward Bell. Inside row number 6 out of Winkler. This is a 2005 Henchcraft with a 2006 Suzuki GSX-R 1000 engine, sponsored by Precision Land Solutions and Triple Star Agricultural Sales. This is Chris Unruh on the outside. Driving the North Star Imrie Demolition number 10, also sponsored by Electrosign. This is Amber Balkan. And rounding out the field, scheduled to start inside of row number 7 of this 13-car field, Jesse Giesbrecht driving the number 17. He's at a Winkler with a 2005 ART chassis, or ART, and a 2004 Suzuki GSX-R 750. So he still retains the 750 from last year. All other cars on the track are 185 horsepower, 1,000 cc motorcycle engines. All right, getting set to go. Lightning Sprints in year 4 of operation here at Red River Co-op Speedway. 70% the size of a World of Outlaws sprint car, built identically, chromoly chassis, aluminum, magnesium parts all over these cars. They run pump gas and are getting ready to go now. Here we go. Chris Soren in the number 1 Henchcraft out to the early lead with the 21 of Rich Nelson right there following along. Here comes the 31 of Frank Elias. 2008 Bailey chassis in the 3rd spot. 4th, Sabatini 5th. The Packing Away Mobile Storage 2 of Roland Bernard, who goes inside. Look at him go. Keep your eyes on the 31 car. He is flying out of Winkler, the LG Transport Green Valley Equipment 31 in a great big hurry. $11 to go here in the Lightning Sprint feature. Heads up, we got a car upside down. It looks like the 4C of Chris Bowman over in turn number 3. I didn't happen to see that accident. And we've got a number 17 car, it looks like, off the top of turn 3. So that, of course, will bring out a red flag situation. All cars must stop on the racetrack immediately. We'll get Chris Bowman checked out over there in the 4C car. All right, it looks like 12 laps remaining here in the Lightning Sprint feature. The last time around, the leader was Chris Soren in the Walker Auto Parts number 1. Number 17 involved over there, as well as Jesse Giesbrecht. He started inside of row number 7 in the 13th starting position. They're going to tip that race car over, and we'll try to get your report from turn number 3 just as soon as possible.
Darren, the word is the driver's out of the car. Is that right? Driver's out of the car, and okay. How about a big hand, everybody?
Well, great news, obviously, Pat, from turn number 3. Of course, we were talking about how these cars are constructed, and a lot of the knock on these cars originally, which was a lot of information that wasn't correct, was that these cars would just not be safe. These cars are built with 4130 chromoly chassis, just like a World of Outlaws sprint car. Identical in construction. They are TIG welded and very, very safe race cars. They have a 6-point or 5-point racing harness in them. Most of the drivers in this class use what they call a Hans device or a Defender neck brace, which keeps the helmet from going forward or the neck from going forward in one of the crashes, and those things really, really work. The Lightning Sprint division, many of the drivers very, very concerned about safety. These cars simply fly. In fact, last lap time on the leader for Chris Soren in the number 1 was 17.3 seconds. 17.3 last lap time for the leader, Chris Soren. So obviously these cars awful, awful quick.
Darren, we're going to do the 50-50 draw right now, and we had a little girl just come down and help us with that. Thank you very much. What is her name, by the way? Huh? Kira. Thank you, Kira. This isn't your ticket, but thank you anyway. 50-50 winning ticket number 25. No, I'm sorry. Let's start over. 025 713 025 713 for 800 and how much? 95? 895 bucks. 025 713. If that's your ticket number, you come up to the west end of the judges stand and see this smiling face right here. Thank you all for buying tickets. Half the money to one lucky ticket holder and half the money to the Drivers' Point Fund. Darren?
Thanks very much, Pat. Well, NASCAR drivers such as Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, and Casey Kane all raced forms of lightning sprints in the early part of their careers. This class competes as far away as Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, and even South Africa. Of course, on the right rear of these cars, also new, along with the 1000cc engines on the right rear, they are now using a Hoosier SP3, which is a little harder compound than they ran last year with the 750s. With the 750s, they ran a Hoosier SP2. Now they are on a Hoosier SP3 to try to equalize the cars out a little bit. With the extra horsepower, that harder right rear does not normally hook up as well, so that is what they're doing to try to keep the class a little more competitive. Stock motorcycle engines complete with a clutch. It's just like taking off on a motorcycle out of the pit area. Chain drive, no drive shaft, chain drive. Probably the weakest link in these lightning sprints is the chain drive. They are a little bit fussy sometimes unless you get some really good alignment and really good product in terms of chain. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Darren, 895 bucks, and he told me not to tell anyone that he won it, but I'm going to tell everybody anyway, Henry. Henry Peters used to run street stocks here and modifieds. That's the biggest payday. Hey, you won a lot of street stock races. Never got 895 bucks, I'll bet, huh? Congratulations, and thank you all for buying tickets.
All right. Well, it looks like the 4C of Chris Bowman will be done for the night. The wing ended up off the top of turn number 3. As this car gets towed down the front straightaway, we'll get a good look at this lightning sprint and find out exactly what the extent of the damage is.
Okay, guys, we're going yellow. Start rolling, please. Start rolling, please. My leader is number 1. Number 1.
Well, looks like obviously top wing, front axle, tailpiece a little bit, yeah, and the rear bumper likely tore out of the spuds on the rear of that chassis, so Bowman Fabrication is going to be awful busy fixing that thing for the next race here at Red River Co-op Speedway.
Darren, looks like nothing but a couple of grand to look after that.
Well, the wings aren't cheap, no question about it. Wings are about $400 a copy. The support structure, those braces that you see, they're called the wing trees, about another $100, so that's when you get into a little bit of money when you get upside down. Lettering, you're right. Front axles are about $180 or so for these cars. Shocks can vary from $150 to about $450. They are allowed single adjustable shocks, not double adjustable. Brent Stagg, a brand new car for 2012. That is the Whiteshell brand Performance number 7. That is a 2011 Bailey chassis with a GSXR Suzuki engine in it. These cars, just like the motorcycles, are fuel injected. They use a computer or an ECU to control all the engine management. As we get set to go 12 on the lap board here in the Lightning Sprint division.
Okay, guys, start paying attention. I'm going to go through the lineup. I'm going to do it once. I want 1,
All right, Chris Soren on the point here on the restart.
31,
12 laps remaining. Actually, many of you might remember years ago in New Bothwell, Manitoba, they actually raced what they called mini sprints, which were actually snowmobile engine powered cars, which were far, far, far less sophisticated than the cars you're seeing on the racetrack right now. But actually, Chris's dad, Jacques, used to compete over at New Bothwell, as did Rod Staff, a modified driver here for many years. New Bothwell closed, and the mini sprints moved to the Hallock Park, or Hallock Raceway Park. What did they call it, Pat? I'm trying to remember now, back in the 90s. Kitson County Speedway.
Oh, well, that's been the same since the 60s, but one thing I'll give you for these things, they sound a whole lot better than those blinking snowmobile engines. That's
Yeah, they sure do.
like listening to a dentist drill. That was too much for me.
All right, here we go. We are getting ready to race, and we are racing green, green, green. Keep your eyes on the number 31 car and the 2. Both cars were flying earlier. Here comes Dylan Sabatini, the FXR Racing 29. Chris Hunter on the 27 car trying to claw through the field. But Chris Soren is flying in the number 1, sponsored by Walker Auto Parts and Direct Buy. Last lap time on the leader, 17.411. 17.411. Into second goes the car number 31 out of the Winkler area. That is the LG Transport AccuPipe number 31 of Frank Elias, passing the 21 of Rich Nelson. Whoa, heads up, the 21 and the 2 almost get together. Roland Bernard and the Packing Away Mobile Storage number 2 battling with the 21 now. We've got ourselves a race. 7 to go. Heads up, Wally Butler with problems, spinning on the front chute. Looks to me like maybe a broken tie rod. Actually, you can see the steering arm. It is bent. Something is bent in that front end. That is known as the drag link. That's the rod that comes down. And it looks like the front end of that henchcraft is dug right into the racetrack, so he might need a hook. Well, a tough break for Wally Butler in the 35W. Obviously, he led the earlier heat race for 7 out of the 8 laps and broke something. And right now he sits on the front straightaway in the Mazer Group 35W. Also sponsored by New Holland Agriculture, New Holland Construction, Dynapack, Toro, and Mahindra Tractors.
Head up over, oh, here he comes. He was still tied up taking the 4C, I believe, to the pit area, and he's headed this way now. I wonder if he didn't hit a tire. They're realigning those tractor tires.
Could have done, could have done. I think as I said, the drag link looks like it's broken. You'll see a steering arm that's vertical that comes out of the blue hood there. That is the vertical piece that Russell's kind of in the way now. He moved, okay, and then you'll see the one that's horizontal that's pointing upwards. That is the drag link. And the tie rod obviously connects the 2 front wheels, and I believe that is likely bent. They use rod ends, of course, spherical bearings, and, well, they are prone to breakage.
Now, I want you to explain something to me because you always tell me you know everything. So, how come we got tires down there? 2 tires stacked up in the corner there.
I don't know. Were we supposed to go away from the tires? Is that what you're asking?
Well, you asked the guy there in that 35 car how he likes them. And you ain't going to be the only one if they're sticking away out there like that.
Well, you know, they're pretty big and heavy tires. I hit one in a super truck once, and you could feel it. So.
And if you look left of the tires, you'll see the track is a different color than it is a width higher. So now we've got a dry line, and where the leader's coming through now is still tacky up there. But it looked like there might have been a little traction on the bottom, but someone doesn't want someone using it. Okay, so tell me, what's the deal?
I don't know why their tires are out there. I'm not a fan of them. Never have been a fan of those things. But
well, no, nobody that buys race parts is a fan of those things.
No, that's for sure.
Maybe we got a tire sponsor here. I don't know.
Looks to me too, Pat, that the left front torsion arm on Wally Butler's car might be hanging there as well.
I know you don't bet much, but I'll bet you a quarter that he hit that tire.
Yeah, could have. I didn't see it, actually.
Now, we fixed him now because anyone that hits it now is going to tear the whole car in half because now you got to hit 2 tires. We'll show you. You want to run the low side here? We'll fix you.
All right, 1 to green here in the Lightning Sprint Division. We have 8 laps on the Pepsi board. So it is Chris Soren in the number 1, followed by the 31 of Frank Elias out of Winkler, then the 2 of Roland Bernard, a 2-time Northern Lightning Sprint Association champion, took last year off to get married and is back for 2012 in the Pack and Away Mobile Storage, Gerald Bernard Realtor number 2. Keep your eyes on him. That is a quick henchcraft. Green flag is out. Here we go. Elias gets a great start in the number 31 and tries to dive underneath the 1 of Chris Soren, but Soren starting to pull away now. Here comes Dylan Sabatini into the 4th spot. The FXR Racing 29 bobbles slightly. Elias, the LG Transport 31, is giving Soren all he can handle. Look at the race for first place. Roland Bernard comes up to join the party as well. Elias is flying on the bottom side of the racetrack. Great racing action here in the Lightning Sprint Division. Look at the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Well, you might notice as the leader, Chris Soren, goes by, that car seems a little quieter than most of them on the racetrack. The reason is it has a left side exit exhaust. The 31 car, a right side. Chris Soren puts a lap down now on the 13 car, who was off the pace, Al Giesbrecht. Heads up, the 31 almost gets into the lap traffic. Look at the race now. The number 1 self-storage, number 2 battling the 31 car. Bernard goes by into the 2nd spot. He started 7th, is now 2nd. Well, Chris Soren started on the pole here in the number 1 car, sponsored by Walker Auto Parts and Direct Buy, and he's got the white flag. Brand new 2012 henchcraft for Chris Soren in the 2012 season, and it looks like he is going to pick up his first ever feature win in the Northern Lightning Sprint Association. Checkered flag is out, and he's got it. Your winner, Chris Soren. 2nd spot's going to go to the number 1 self-storage, number 2 of Bernard. 3rd, the 31 of Frank Elias. In 4th spot there, Energy 106 FXR, 29 of Sabatini. Then the 10 of Amber Balkin. So a good night for the Henchcraft chassis. They finish 1 and 2. The 31 of Bailey. Actually 3rd, 4th, and 5th Bailey chassis. So pretty even in the top 5, but the Henchcrafts take the night. No question about that. All right, Pat, I should get you this lineup now. And I think we're going super stock racing. Yes, we are. You need to hold on to your ticket stubs for tonight's racing. That's good for 10% off Sturgeon Construction Foundation repairs. Many thanks to Sturgeon Construction for sponsoring our night here, and thanks for all their help in fixing up the Speedway in the last couple of weeks. Pat.
All right, Darren, we are set to go super stock racing and showing the way as they do every race day. The all-new Hemi. That is the new Dodge Crew Cab from Winnipeg Dodge at the Point West Auto Park. Starting on the pole in the Grainmaster, Epic Dealer Solutions, number 4, the driver, young lady Tabitha Wasilek. To her outside, it's the boss, the guy that owns the place, in the Winnipeg Dodge Enterprise Rent-A-Car, number 9, that is Walt Morris. Inside row number 2, it's Rod Fiddler in the Chuds Chrysler number 5, and to his outside, Severe Landscaping.